Thank you for learning Siebel with the Siebel Hub. We have a unique, comprehensive and always up-to-date collection of Siebel CRM 2021 training classes. We can deliver live online and on-site training in the highest quality with the most experienced instructors. And we also offer a unique modular Siebel CRM 20 and 21 training. Follow the links in the description or on this slide to learn more and learn Siebel with the Siebel Hub. Alright, so here we go with the Siebel CRM update 21.5 highlights. It's May 2021. We have the 5th monthly update for this year, and we have several fivers. That is the certification for Oracle Analytics Server 5.5 and certification for Oracle Analytics Publisher 5.5. Then that's the major announcement from Oracle. There are some minor improvements and enhancements that we can find by skimming through the documentation available, like bookshelf and release notes, or just by doing the update and see what is different from previous versions. Developers will rejoice on the fact that the update on a developer web client now no longer forces the installation of Oracle SE2 for a supposed local database engine, which is never has existed for Siebel tools and development web client since IP17. So this is now gone. You can just apply the binary update and don't need to extract the SE2 database client and then later get rid of it. The email marketing server gets an update too. Those daemons like click-through daemon, etc. There is a feature called encryption of trackable EMS URLs and response forms, which is available as of 21.5. And in the scripting area, we find in Bookshelf a documentation of some environment variables for performance, which is now included in the official documentation. So what to say about Oracle Analytics Server? It is the successor of Oracle BI Enterprise Edition 12c. It has been conceived in early 2020 and announced for public availability back then as a combination of on-premises and cloud-based deployment. So it's the same code base. On-premises versions is called OAS, Oracle Analytics Server, and the cloud variant is called Oracle Analytics Cloud. And that is the former Siebel Analytics, of course, which was for long years OBIE. And it always came bundled with BI Publisher, which as a standalone variant is supported with Siebel reports in the new and enhanced version OAP, Oracle Analytics Publisher 5.5. So customers who are using any older version of OBIE or BI Publisher will find 21.5 and higher versions very much attractive because of the fact they can now upgrade OBIE or BI Publisher to the OAS, OAP 5.5 versions and get full support and certification for that. The bespoke environment variables for scripting performance have made it into the Bookshelf guide, into the performance tuning guide. If you check the What's New chapters, you will see a new chapter mentioning that these environment variables with the recommended setting from Oracle could increase performance during processing of scripts. These variables are not new. They have been around since IP15 or so, but they are first time documented in Bookshelf. So this is worth a note here, and maybe it can help improve scripting performance in some environments. As is becoming a habit, we are summarizing the update path options for customers here. So if you are on anything between 17.0 or 21.1, which are the non-MDE versions of Siebel 17 Plus, here's the following path to get you to the latest 21.x version. So it is of course mandatory to run the MDE, to run the update on all your enterprise components as well as Siebel tools and the client. This will be a binary update plus for the enterprise components. It will be a new topology created, a new directory structure, which of course has implications on any customization and script you have in that area. You will likely get a Tomcat update, which happens frequently enough. The Tomcats will have new service names in Windows, so be aware of that. And with 21.4, there's also Zookeeper, which gets a new version. So watch out for any changes that might be needed in any custom files or any auxiliary stuff. It's also mandatory to run the post-install database update, which is offered as run it automatically as part of the MDE, like in previous updates, or you can opt for manual execution. You have to do it once per database, once per environment, in DR and RR environment. Make sure you verify the report and the various log files to make sure that everything went A-OK with that post-install database update. Rerun it manually in case of errors, and of course consult with Oracle support in case of any trouble. The repository upgrade has been made optional. It always has been optional, but it has now a new, since 21.3, infrastructure. You run it always against the DR environment only, and you have to check the release notes for the indication that you need to run repository upgrade to uptake certain features like the Siebel CRM application. And if you intend to use any of those new features, which include schema changes, repository changes, etc., then you run the repository upgrade manually, and it will create a new integration workspace, which you have to inspect and test and subsequently rebase or deliver into your own integration workspace or main workspace, and then migrate these changes to RR. Note that repository upgrade is not run against the RR, it's run against the DR, and the migration then takes over. Also, if you prepare for an update, gentle reminder here that there's a What's New chapter in Bookshelf. There might be a lot of chapters to read, so check out our YouTube channel, check out the Siebel Hub training, check out the Oracle training offerings in that area, most of which is free. And also take the release notes seriously, read all the configuration instructions that there might be, and understand and apply any workarounds for known issues so you hit the road running with your latest 21.5. The update path for customers already on 21.2, that is the first MDE version, so 21.2 to 21.4, let's say, to 21.5, is a slightly accelerated path. You still run the MDE, get the binary updates, but there's no topology change, so you spare that. You still can get some updates of third-party software like Tomcat and Zookeeper. It's still mandatory to run the post-install database update once per environment and do the needful and verify all the reports and ensure that this very important part of the update runs completely and successfully. And it's still optional to run the repository upgrade to uptake any repository content delivered from Oracle into that integration workspace. Still, you have to read What's New chapters or take a look at our offerings and understand the content of the release notes in their entirety. So this is the path. We have a little bit of a diagram here where you see since 21.3 this is the update process. So various checkpoints exist. So you run the MDE. If your prior version is less than or equal to 21.1, you should verify the topology, the new topology, if everything's correct. Custom files have been copied over correctly. If you already ran post-install database update as part of the MDE, you're fine. If not, run it now. Do you want to run the repository upgrade, the optional one? Yes, then run it. Do you have any configuration instructions to follow? Yes, then apply them in the repository. The resulting repository changes have to be tested and delivered and eventually migrated to the RR. So then you are done. Okay, so this is a 21.5 update running against a 21.6 environment on Microsoft Windows. So we are starting the MDE installer here on the server machine and select the home to update. So this is the Siebel SES, the 20.6 Siebel server and gateway home. Nothing to select here on the next page, and the crucial page for post-installation database update options. We will opt for an automatic post-install database run, so we're not skipping or deferring anything. Just make sure you have the correct settings. So there's the password for table owner and admin here. We use a different ODBC data source in this environment, so enter that. It's an English-only environment, so no languages to select. And next, and install, and off we go. All services are down, by the way. The enterprise has been completely shut down. And of course, in the next few minutes, you will see a highly accelerated video of this. It would be way too boring to watch all this in real time. So as you can see, we have opened the task manager, so we can, well, see what processes are running. Currently, the installer has finished the binary update, has laid down the new folder, and now is copying over files from the old home to the new home, and it's now starting the new Tomcat. It's also starting the Siebel server, which is a bit annoying, so we are going to stop it once it's up. And at the same time, it has launched the post-install database setup utility. The post-install database setup utility is running. As you can see in the task manager, it's quite interesting to see the siebdev CLI utility executing most of the batch imports and schema imports into the Siebel repository. That's a client version, a command line version of Siebel Tools, which also does the job on Linux systems where there is no Siebel Tools installation. And you will also see ODBC SQL calls along the way, so a lot of queries against the database to check various states of records, etc. So here you see that I'm bringing down the services that the MDE has launched. It is good to see that launching, but it doesn't make much sense since the database doesn't have the correct content right now. Let's watch the log file a little bit for post-install database update. Okay, we're speeding up again, and this should be finished in a short moment. Okay, and here we go. The post-install database setup utility has done its job. The MDE update for the Siebel Enterprise server is complete. Now, of course, it's good practice to verify the log files. So we go to the new SES folder, Sieb server log, where we should find the post-install DB setup log file and a HTML report. That report is very valuable as it points out all the details about that recent post-install DB setup run. You can check out the parameters. It was a DR, a development environment, so you see it has successfully queried the database to get information. It checked for workspace ranking, which has been completed already. There's 4 tabs about details on schema import, which you have seen running for every version. There's a different schema SIF being imported. The tables are published at the end. You see seed data imports for the various versions. You can always drill down on the log files to see details. We see the seed import has been done for 21.1, 2, and 4, which is a good indication. So if all these statuses are complete, you are in the green. And that's the manifest import. So OpenUI manifest updates galore. Workflow upgrade, important step because we come from 20.6. We crossed the boundary of the full runtime repositories architecture for workflows. And there's some detailed schema information as to what tables and columns have been added or modified. The information seems to end currently at 20.7, so not sure why this is not complete. There's also information for the manifest and seed information. So you see all the individual records are logged down here, but again, it stops at 20.7. Okay, as a bonus, we will run the repository upgrade. This is completely optional. Run it only if you really know that you need to run it, because you have spotted down features in the release notes which require the repository upgrade to run. Here it is already running. You can see the command line from the Siebel server binary. Run it, of course, after updating to 21.5 or higher. And you see that it's in the high-speed video we see here. It has already started with the schema installation for this part, for the optional part of the repository upgrade. The mandatory part, so to speak, is executed by the post-install database update. And now you get additional tables in column 4, features that are optional, and customers decide if they want to uptake them or not. Repository imports running. This is a high-speed version again, it's not real time. And you see for each version down to 20.3, it imports all the necessary parts of the features and solutions that Oracle has built. So now it has finished, and there is also an HTML report, which is very similar to the post-install database report. So we can check out the parameters, we can check out the schema changes that were made. And you will notice that there is an overlap with the post-install database update, as the post-install database update seems to execute a subset. So I cannot confirm this, but it's highly likely that that's the fact. So you get, from the repository upgrade, you get additional content, but it also runs some imports of stuff that is already imported, which is redundant but fine. It will not result in a duplicate table or so. So here we see, for example, the post-install database setup report. I just opened it again to see the system preferences imported by both are the same, which is an interesting side note here. The big difference is that all the stuff you get here is not applied to your main repository. It's imported and delivered into an integration workspace, which is automatically created. So let's open Siebel Tools, which we have updated to 21.5 already. And in Siebel Tools, we'll check out the content of that workspace. So Here it is, int Siebel update with one developer workspace, which was used to import the stuff, and now it's delivered into that integration workspace, but not delivered higher up. You have your job is basically to verify the content here, probably decide to, well, uptake all of this stuff or a subset, and then act accordingly. So we, in our simple demo, we just want to uptake the Siebel ERM application, which is part of the 21.1 update. There are other features like for life science clinical, etc. Some workflow updates, as we can see. So take your time to verify what is delivered into this integration workspace. So you can, for example, run it in a specialized object manager, or as we do here, we decide to start the rebase, as it has to be rebased first because it's we have a higher main version. So that rebase is now running. It's a high-speed video, and rebase is complete. So we now can view the conflicts that might exist. Not there I'm expecting any, but you should take some time to verify the information in the workspace merge tables, which is visible here in Siebel Tools. And then only when you are sure that everything's fine, click the finish button and finish the rebase, which again takes a while. This is a high-speed version. And now we can, so now the integration workspace delivered by Oracle is ready to be submitted for delivery, as it's now fully rebased, and we can deliver it. So that is a new version of the main workspace in the DR, and we're speeding up the merge process here a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, so new main version there with all the changes from 20.3 to 21.5, literally all the repository changes. And Siebel ERM application, it appears as inserted. That's because the original version that was inactive. So let's check out in main, in the latest main. This is now an active application with, of course, all the screens that have been updated by Oracle for full OpenUI functionality. So this is now the new Siebel ERM OpenUI application that was delivered in 21.1, which we decided to uptake. So we did the repository upgrade. Siebel Tools CFG, we changed the symbolic string prefix, we changed it back. Something you might want to do yourself. And here we see enabling the ERM component group and enabling it on one server. So enabling the ERM component group on that server. Quickly change the AI profile. That is after restarting the server, so we can pick the ERM object manager in a new application section. We just clone call center, rename it to ERM, and pick the employee relationship management object manager. So now the AI profile is updated, and we, with a little bit of luck, we can just log into ERM. Let's check it out. Okay, here's the ERM homepage. All right. Fully OpenUI enabled. Anonymous login doesn't have a lot of screens apparently. So we rather log in. And that seems to work fine. So we verify in the sitemap. There's all the screens being updated for OpenUI, the screens that the whole application and most of these screens were not available in OpenUI for a long time, and this application just made a comeback just now. Okay, thanks for watching, and take care. Goodbye.